There's Fraser. Nicol to McMinn. One of these ambling, awkward runs of his. That's brilliant play by McMinn. There's a good ball and a brilliant save by Bonner. One of the best moves of the game, capped by a quite excellent, clinical kind of save. Superb setup there by McMinn. And that tantalising ball almost to the head of Ali McCoyson, brilliantly saved by the big Irishman. Exciting, flowing play there from Rangers. McMinn again. Seems to want to take them all on. Fraser. Round the side, and that's a bit too much. We cut off by McGugan. Nicol behind it for Rangers. McGugan. Burns. We haven't seen too much of Tommy Burns in this game yet. All you need is 30 seconds from the likes of Tommy Burns and he can turn a game. He has the skill and the talent. Like this man, Cooper. Monroe for Rangers. McCoy's turning well on that, and good covering there by Mudder McLeod. Leclerc got that done brilliantly. Butcher very calmly, and that looked a promising Celtic move again, and Rangers applying McMinn with the ball. Jimmy Nicol on the run. Yes, I think the referee indicating, after having looked at the linesman, that that's a free kick. That tackle on Jimmy Nicol penalised by the referee. Free kick to Rangers. 22 minutes gone. And as always, the opening goal in a game like this is so vital. Long and high and beyond everybody, and that'll be a corner kick. Slight dissension in the Rangers' ranks there about the way that free kick was taken. Much too high and long, and I think it was meant for Butcher originally. Corner by David Cooper. Ball still in play. Here's Nicol. Floated again. There's the header. There's McMinn up. Corner kick, and Rangers are turning the screw. Really putting the pressure on. And there's the big gangling man who's causing a lot of the problems for Celtic. Ted McMinn, signed for about 200,000 from Dumfries, from Queen of the South, as that corner is taken. The referee awarding that free kick to Celtic.
I wouldn't like to sort that one out, who's fouled who in that occasion.
Quick attack though by Celtic. Tommy Burns. Nice little change of direction. Boris Johnson, maybe not without justification, appealing for a free kick there as he went down. All the way through to McCoist. There's Durrant, here's Ferguson. Fraser off the side of the foot. He tried to curl it round towards David Cooper. McStay. Here's Monroe. Cooper. Monroe on the run. That's not a bad cross, and White very intelligent away. There's Cooper though. almost touches it through, and the Celtic defence had to tighten up and did. But Rangers in the past 10 minutes certainly have had more of the game going forward. Too much in that. Jim.
Ted McMinn must get in the box when the crosses from the left-hand side here. Alan McCoy's been left far too much in his own. The main support in the game is coming from the boy Durrant. The lack of height in the box is, in my opinion, going to make that Rangers are struggling to score.
Well, that was meant for McMinn, but much too ambitious. I think the clear suggestion there by Jim McLean that although Rangers have been putting on the pressure, a lot of the play around the penalty area, that a lot of the final balls are leaving the one Rangers player stranded. And the score is still nothing each. 25 minutes of the first half gone. That, I think, will be a free kick to Rangers as 6'2" Davy McPherson tumbles, and that's a long height to tumble from. There he goes into the penalty area. Sign from Kosh amateurs by Rangers. 3 Rangers players huddling round that, all expert in this area. Fraser, Cooper, Nico. Round the side, oh, well read though by Owen Archdeacon, a little too obvious. Not the most incisive pass back, but it worked. McPherson. Fraser. Rangers quite calmly playing it around the back. And that's too much. The noise volume here is quite incredible. I think it's even louder than I've experienced it here in the past. Burns, beautiful little pass by Burns, seeing the opening. Martin McLeod. No, the referee's giving it the other way. Brian McClure quite annoyed about that. It's a throw to Rangers. Munro. Fraser. And Rangers time to play very coolly and calmly at the back. Meanwhile, the crowd have taken over. Song and counter-song. Durrant. Go to Rangers. Now Monroe. David Cooper. There's Monroe, he dabs it forward. There's McMinn with a shot that is just to the side. And Rangers did get people into the penalty area that time, but it decided that the shot was coming from the outside. Nice ball by Monroe. Celtic defence in two minds there. White did get behind it. Ali McCoy might well have had a go himself, but there was McMinn on the volley just to the side. Durrant. Good play again by Rangers. Here's Nico. Ted McMinn. Here's Nicholl. That'll be a corner kick. Well, this is Rangers' fifth corner. Celtic haven't had one yet. Perhaps an indication of how this first half has gone, and we're virtually on the 30-minute mark. We are in fact now 30 minutes gone as this corner is taken. It goes back to Cooper. He won't hesitate, but not a very clever one. His players had gone back the way, and that's a very intelligent throw out there by Pat Bonner. McClare. Butcher. Can play there by Fraser. Certainly an enormously improved player from the one I saw last season. Here's McMinn. On he goes. Almost got it away. What a game he's having for Rangers. Here's McMinn. Corner kick again, and he really is having a marvellous game. He's an eccentric player in many ways. You know, one leg points northeast, the other southwest, and in all that form, nobody knows quite what he's going to do, and he is causing all those problems for Celtic. It's Fraser, and it's just over. And Rangers really have, at this moment, a command of the game, Jim.
Oh, without doubt, an outstanding player at the moment, Ted McMinn. He is trying to do the most difficult thing in the game, and that is take people on, and he's doing it magnificently. But the lack of height in the box is definitely proving a problem for Rangers.
And from time to time, you have one set of supporters roused, then the other. Paul McStay. McLeod. Still in play, thought the whistle might have gone. Durrant's lost his boot as McMinn goes forward again. Here's McMinn, can he get his shot? And he does. And the Rangers support are rising to this man. How about Aiken on the run? Monroe is there for Rangers though. And there is West. Woods rather. I'll get these Englishmen right yet. Chris Woods.
I think a factor for Celtic is that we've not seen near enough of Tommy Burns. It was 28 minutes there and I forgot he was playing. So a player of his calibre has got to get himself into this game somehow.
Certainly suggested that earlier on, Jim, and he hasn't come back into it for some reason. And Rangers midfield, in fact, the young boys playing very well.
Without doubt, that's, in my opinion, where Rangers have got a complete grip in the game, in midfield, and that's a vital part in the modern game.
Now, Paul McStay, of whom much is always expected in games. That's a free kick, surely, yes. And I think Durrant will be seen to now. Durrant has been lined, and he lost his boot. Durrant, one of these younger players that we've been talking about. Adi McCoy's with him, getting a drink of something or other. And still the noise goes on here. Rangers have certainly had the better of this first half, there's no question about that. But the outstanding player of the field, Ted McMinn. And we are right in the middle of that platform, right in the middle of the picture that you can see now, and that is part of the reason why it is so very, very difficult to hear each other up on the platform. It really is. Huge crowds in the enclosure just below us. Another shot of the new electronic scoreboard they have here with the time, 34 minutes, which is just about the same as our watch. 34 minutes gone. And there is Durrant taking his time, coming back into the play. Free kick to Celtic. Test for this defence, and I think McGugan got the touch. There's McMinn back there. whipping it away. Throw to Celtic. Celtic supporters still urging their team on. The game now settled down all the same. Now that's a good ball to Aiken. Fraser comes up. Aiken taking his time about that. There goes wide. Tries to touch it back. Fraser. Will Cooper get it? He does. Cooper away for Rangers. Here's McCoist inside. And Fraser. Touched away beautifully though. Now Derek White. Birthday boy. And that's easy for Butcher. Derek Ferguson. It's still nothing each. Anything can turn an old firm game. The likes of Paul McStay there. That was a very loose pass though. Fraser, it's round the side to Cooper. Then it's swept, not hard enough. Fraser with a chance, he scored, and it must be no. How that stayed out, I will never know. Quite incredible misses. It should have been sunk the first time. In fact, a brilliant shot here by Fraser, right off the post, and what's a chance that Ali McCoist had, brilliantly saved, although put far too near the keeper. And out of all that, a corner kick, a mere award, and I think a nudge. And one wonders, Jim, if that happens in a game like that, of a game of such importance, of how it affects a team that misses a chance like that.
Well, players tend to think they wonder when they're going to score, but as far as the attacking play, Rangers are by far the better side. I'm very surprised with the calibre of the midfield that Celtic have.
But Celtic always possess, even when they're going through a mediocre phase, which they have in the last 20 minutes or so, they always possess that threat up front. Johnson and McClair always capable of scoring goals, even in adverse circumstances.
That's exactly the way I'm feeling at the moment, actually. Rangers have had so much play and they've nothing to show for it, but probably Celtic will break away and score one.
Here's Owen Archdeacon. Brilliant tackling. McLeod following up. And Monroe's happy enough to shove that across. Well, that's a pattern, Jim, of many an old firm game. You know, one in top for so long. I've seen it happen one way and then the other. And that's exactly what Celtic will now be trying to do from this throwing.
I think it's a problem in any game.
Taking his time about it, Owen Archdeacon. I think that's gone over. Yes, it has. Was a slack one by McMinn. Here's Butcher. Very coolly out. Throw to Rangers. Just too slack that time. I think Terry Butcher gave him a stern little look. Butcher wanting to take this throw himself. On the way to Durrant. Celtic have got a grip of themselves again. Grant. McStay. Too quick and too much from Paul McStay. who certainly hasn't made his usual imprint on this game. One expects him to go around it coolly and with authority, and that just hasn't quite come. But early days yet. Grant. Weakly through, there was no defence there. Owen Archdeacon. Tantalising ball, and Nicol is there for Rangers. Here's Derek White. He's aiming for a shot. He is. And way wide. But the youngster just as well trying that. The Rangers defence were beginning to come out towards him. And one of the few Celtic shots in this half.
I wonder if the Rangers players are feeling a wee bit sorry for themselves now with the shot coming off the post there. If the Celtic are starting to play a wee bit now.
They certainly are. Paul McStay. Well, that's a lovely ball through the middle. And there's Butcher very coolly back with that. He was really under pressure. There wasn't much margin for error in anything he did, and he got it exactly right. Aiken. It's swirling a bit in Aiken, confidently behind it, and so is Mother McLeod. And one feels, to reiterate what Jim McLean was saying, that Celtic, let off the hook by that miss, are beginning to reassert themselves, found a new nerve and confidence. And Rangers once again stringing it along the back. McMinn. Jimmy Nicol. Here's McMinn. Good tackle that time though. McGugan right across. He'll leave it to Nicol. Wants Fraser forward. Here's Nicol. Oh, bad one, and Celtic now on the break. Tommy Burns. Good break by Burns. Easily mopped up by Butcher, and really it gave Mo Johnson no chance whatsoever, that pass. Oh, great play again by McMinn. Away he goes. McLeod is there. McMinn. Referee waves play on, and McMinn from time to time has been slicing his way through that Celtic defence, but nothing has come of it. McClare. Just a bit too tidy, and here's McPherson. Nicol, Durrant. Here's Butcher. It's wide, it's towards Durrant. And he'll settle for the throw. Here's McMinn. What's the cross going to be like? It's not a good one. That's a flaw in McMinn's game, by the way. He can build up very good chances for himself. Sometimes his final pass lets the previous move down, as it did there. Grant. Mother McLeod, will he let fly? Trying to find a position, and that is a corner kick. With only a minute and a half to the end of this half, it's the first corner kick for Celtic. Will be taken by Owen Archdeacon. Chris Woods directing his defence, and this is a real test for him. And yes, free kick. He was nudged as he went for it, given the protection by the referee. There's Butcher telling them all. Club captain and marshalling his forces. The half-time whistle should go any second. The end of a first half in which Rangers might feel justified in saying they should have gone in the lead. And there it goes. The first half has ended. There's a half-time score and a really palpitating first half that Rangers dominated for long spells. They built up some marvellous chances for themselves, but let themselves down with some very poor finishing. They have been the masters of much of this half in front of this 44,000 crowd, and standing out a mile is Ted McMinn, the Rangers winger who has taken the Celtic defence apart any time he's been on the ball. Rangers' best chance falling to Cammy Fraser about 10 minutes before half-time when he lashed in a shot that came off the post. It came back out to Ollie McCoist, who had the goal at his mercy, but side-footed it straight into the arms of the Celtic goalkeeper. Celtic get back much more strongly towards the end of the half, but Rangers midfield players, the young players in particular, well, they've been well served. Certainly outstanding performances by Durrant and Fraser, and of course Derek Ferguson. And Rangers, I think, at this stage should have been up. And so Jim McLean, that assessment of the game, I think, does indicate that Rangers might well have had at least one goal.
I think that without doubt Rangers have been by far the better side. I think the outstanding players, and very seldom do I agree with Archie, but the outstanding players for me are without doubt Ted McMinn. He's given all the Rangers players a rest by the way he's trailing the ball at the Celtic defence. I think that his final ball into the box has got to be a driven cross and get the Rangers smaller players attacking the near post to have any chance of getting a goal. But to me, Cammy Fraser has had an outstanding match. You've never seen Tommy Burns, and you've seen a lot of Cammy Fraser.
Thank you very much, Jim McLean. And as I said earlier on, we have at the other end of the platform Dougie Donnelly, who will be talking, I'm sure, to the very interested Andy Gray.
Yes, indeed, Archie. Andy, your impressions of your first Old Firm match in something like 15 years, what did you think?
Well, the atmosphere certainly hasn't let me. I haven't been let down by that at all, Dougie. It's been absolutely red hot. Supporters have been absolutely magnificent from both sets. They've got right behind their side, and the last time I was here there was about 90,000 here, I think. But even though there's only half that today, the atmosphere is still absolutely brilliant. And the game itself, I thoroughly enjoyed the first half.
Differences from the English game, you were saying at one point that it's played in a different way, really.
Yeah, the game seems to be spread over a larger area of the park. I think in England teams try and squeeze you up and play in a smaller area. I think here in the Old Firm game, they're giving the players more time and more space. But I mean, it is red hot. When someone gets the ball, he's not on it for very long before someone's thumping in at the back of him. But I've enjoyed it, it's been great.
Right. Rangers, possibly the better of the two sides, but I think definitely the better in the first 45 minutes anyway.
Yeah, I think they probably did the majority of the pressure in the first 45 minutes. Didn't have very many chances. Funny enough, the shot that hit the post and Pat Bonner making that magnificent save from Ali McCoist from the rebound seems to have done more for Celtic than it has for Rangers. Since then, Celtic have looked a better side, and for about the last 10 minutes of the first half, they've looked more likely to score. But the big boy on the wing, McMinn, has absolutely terrorised Celtic in the first half. Every time he's got the ball, he's looked like he's going to do something, and unfortunately for Rangers, unfortunately for Celtic, his final balls let him down.
So let's see a little bit of Ted McMinn now then. He has been possibly the outstanding player in that first half, and as Andy says, he's really terrorising the Celtic defence with his runs at them. And it's just that final distribution perhaps is what's letting him down, but Ali McCoy's not too far away, but Paddy Bonner, a great save again.
Pat Bonner's done extremely well for him. I think he's always been a good goalkeeper, very underrated in England. But coming here today, he hasn't let me down either. He's pulled off a great save there, and the save he pulled off from Ali McCoy was magnificent to get a hand to it. He's done exceptionally well.
Yes, big Roy Aitken and Paul McGugan have to work very hard in the middle of the defence, although Ali McCoy's largely playing on his own up front. Really.
Yeah, Rangers have stuck Ali McCoist up there on his own and played with Davy Cooper and McMinn both wide, which is strange policy, one that we don't see very much of in this country. And you know, it's worked. because they've got behind the Celtic defence. And the only thing is, I think Ali could have done a little bit more help in the box. Celtic, as I say, for the last 10 minutes have came back and they look as if they might do something second half.
The ironic thing about McMinn, of course, is that he possibly wouldn't have played had Colin West been fit. I think probably West and McCoy would have played up front. McMinn might only have been on the bench. So it's ironic the way it works out sometimes, isn't it?
That's football. That's why we love it so much today, I think. Yeah, that's right. But he's been outstanding, undoubtedly.
Right, well, let's again see a little bit more of Ted McMinn. He's been the main talking point, as we said. And here's another incident here. And he's got this lovely ability to send players the wrong way. He was around Roy Aitken very easily there.
Yeah, he's done brilliant here. And actually, this is the one point where if he'd have looked up, I think Davy Cooper was wide and was in a better position. But he's hit a good shot. And again, Pat Bonner's been faultless.
That's right. Looking at the Celtic side, they've struggled to come into the game a little bit. They're losing it in midfield, really. Paul McStay's had a few touches, but they're not quite coming to grips, are they?
I think as Jim McLean said earlier, Cammy Fraser's had a tremendous game and he hasn't let Tommy Burns play at all. Paul's been very, very quiet, Paul McStay, and I think Brian McClare and Mo Johnson have suffered from it. I think Mo's been quiet because he hasn't had the service, and Brian's the same. They've not had the service that they both require. But when they had the ball, the two front men of Celtic, they have looked dangerous, and they looked like they could win. A little bit of magic from either of them could actually win the game. I think Rangers will be disappointed that they haven't got a goal at half time, and that will be the worrying thing from Graeme Souness.
That's right. Well, the nearest thing to a goal came, of course, with that shot which hit the post, and then a marvellous Bonner save from McCoy in the follow-up. Here's how it started with the Davy Cooper cross. Again, the high ball. Not terribly well cleared, Andy, really.
No, this boy actually hits a tremendous shot here. I don't think Pat Bonner knew too much about that. But you can see Pat's down on the ground there. He manages to get himself up, and now he gets a hand to it. I mean, it's pure reflex, but it's absolutely magnificent.
That's right. The closest thing to a goal we've yet seen, but at the moment it's nothing each. Let's talk about the two English lads making their Old Firm debuts, Andy. You said beforehand they would have seen nothing like this before. They've both done very well.
Yeah, I think Celtic would have liked to have put Chris Woods under a bit more pressure and goal. He's had very little to do first half, and he'll be very settled now. You know, in the game, he's had 45 minutes. I think Terry Butcher's come into the game, and Terry, being an experienced international, has thoroughly enjoyed it. It looks like he's enjoyed it, and they haven't been able to put him under the pressure they would have liked to. But they've both come through with flying colours so far, the two English lads, and they'll be very pleased with their contribution in the first half.
Right. So, of course, the question is what happens at half-time. What do the two respective managers say to their sides? Obviously, Rangers perhaps a little bit happier, but Celtic have got to come into the game a bit more. And, I mean, would you envisage any changes?
Well, not at the moment. I think Davy Hay will be saying more to Celtic than Graeme Souness for Rangers. I think he'll be demanding more from his players at half-time, and he'll be having a lot to say. But I think Graeme Souness will probably be saying, let's have more of the same, and hopefully we can get a goal. But Davy Hay will be a little bit more anxious to get his Celtic side back into the game.
Right. Let's just turn away from the game just for a second, Andy, and ask you about yourself. You've had this injury problem, haven't actually played this season, or at least first stage football. What's the latest situation?
Well, I had an operation in the summer, Dougie, and taken a little bit longer than expected, but I played my first reserve game in the midweek there and came through it okay, and hopefully after about another 3 or 4 reserve games I'll be fit and available for selection for the first team. So I'm on my way back, certainly.
That's right, and of course big Neil Cooper now down at Villa.
Neil's down
he's had his problems too, hasn't he?
He's been injured, unfortunately. He's been champing at the bit, as they say, because Neil's now seen 3 games and he hasn't played in any of them. He's pulled a groin muscle, but hopefully within about 10 days Neil will be fit and certainly on our side. I know he's looking forward enormously to playing his first game for us.
Yeah. And you enjoying being back at Villa Park?
Yes, it's been great. It's like a second home to me after Glasgow. I mean, Birmingham was my second home really, and it's nice to go back there. I've got lots of friends, lots of family down there, and I'm quite happy there.
That's right. A lot of good young players as well. What kind of season are you looking for Villa? You're a bit result at Wimbledon the other night.
We've had a terrible start actually, Dougie, but I've got a lot of good young players, and with the acquisition of Neil, Gary Thompson, and Martin Keown from Arsenal, we were expecting big things, but until we get all our players fit, then it's very hard, and I think we've suffered a little bit from injuries this early in the season, but we're certainly a lot more optimistic that the season will improve as we go on.
That's right. I haven't read your book yet. You weren't actually generous enough to come up with a couple of copies for the lads.
I only get 6, believe it or not. Everybody's asked me for one, Dougie. I only get 6.
Somebody said that reading between the lines, you were hinting that you wouldn't be averse to finishing your career in Scotland. How do you feel about that?
Certainly would. I mean, people that used to say, we'll go back to Scotland to see out your career, but having watched this today, players can't do that. You know, this has been a tremendous advert for Scottish football so far. I mean, certainly yes, if the right offer came along, then I would be adverse to come back north of the border. I know my family would quite like the idea of coming back up and possibly settling again.
Right, well, it's good to see you, and enjoying the first half anyway. All we're needing really is a couple of goals in the second half.
I hope so, yeah.
Well, let's hope we get them. Let's hand you back to Person and Jim McLean.
Thank you very much, Dougie and Andy, as Celtic trot out onto the pitch. for the second half, and there is little doubt that the rather taciturn and shy David Hay, that's what he sometimes appears to be, would have been a very lively man in the dressing room as he tries to express his feelings about a team that perhaps have not given him as much as he would have liked. That typical Celtic commitment was there in one or two of the players, and I would imagine, well, I think I would be extremely surprised if we didn't see a different Celtic attitude in the second half. Just casting my eyes around to see if there are any substitutions. Willie McStay is on. Willie McStay has come on for Celtic, bending down away on the far side as Celtic are about to restart the game. The score is still nothing each in front of this absolutely splendid, marvellous, colourful crowd of 44,000. And Andy Gray was saying something to the effect of a grand advertisement for Scottish football. Well, I think it has. No matter how the result goes at the end of the day, we already have had exciting, flowing football in a sporting game. Celtic starting the second half, and there is a substitute, Willie McStay. To Mackay, to Derek White. Just touched out there. Willie McStay on, Jim.
Yes, there must have been something wrong with Tommy Burns, because he didn't seem to take part in the game at all. So I think they're looking for more strength in the midfield.
Fraser, loose sort of pass all the same. Beautifully done by McGugan. What an assortment of fine young players we have on this field. There's one of them, Derek Ferguson, pushed right off the ball. Slight little complaint there by Paul McStay, but not all that much. It was a free kick. Butcher to take it. Wants it high, there's McMinn, and climbing up his opponent. A little bit of mountaineering going on there. Well, if he does nothing else, he certainly deserved his wages for that first half performance. A real entertainer. Nothing that Rangers can show from what he did, I realise that, but some marvellously exciting runs nevertheless. Monroe slicing it away. Peter Grant has moved into the midfield. As I said of him earlier, he made a marvellous start to his career with Celtic, then started to fade out of it slightly. That's a good ball, and an even better one. Morton McLeod with the shot, and brilliantly tackled by Nicol. Suddenly Morton McLeod found himself in that free position, and it took a superb tackle by Nicol to thwart him. Celtic on the attack immediately in this half. Easily plucked out of the air. Woods has not really been put under fire at all in this match. I suspect he might get some pressure in the second half. Fraser. No offside. And McGugan pulled Paddy McCoy's back. It's a free kick to Rangers.
Cammy Fraser's weakness was just shown there when he allowed McLeod to run off him. He was caught ball watching.
And ball watching is a favourite phase of Mr. McLean's. I've heard him criticise his players for that before. And here is a free kick to Rangers, and any of three of the players could take it here. In fact, I think Mr. Hope, Kenny Hope, the referee, wants it further back. Fraser can hit them. So can Cooper. Fraser with the shot, and it's almost there. Goes for a penalty, and nothing's been given. It's a corner kick. Well, Pat Bonner, a nervy sort of save from this free kick. It went right through, there he gets down on it. It's a test for the goalkeeper, and it seemed to be just eluding him. And there was no penalty kick, as we can see from that replay. Now, well, seemed to be a bit of climbing again. There's McPherson. Wow, that seemed extraordinary, because I thought McGugan had played the entire Rangers line on. But it's offside. And I think the referee's going to have a word with Terry Butcher and McGugan. Jim.
I didn't see anything happen at all, but
no.
From the start of the game, at every set piece, both of them have been using their arms, but I didn't see anything happen there.
Seemed like a final warning about it in any case. Free kick. Very neat play by Rangers. Ali McCoy's. Here's Cooper. Monroe on the run. Doesn't quite come though. Durrant. Monroe. Cooper. Cooper cutting in. Here's Durrant. Here's Fraser. Now McMinn. Oh, now it's Deacon back with him, McMinn. Now Nicol. Ali McCoy's right underneath it. He had a very good position there. Now, McCoy's hasn't had much latitude from this Celtic defence, but he did have it there. There was a gap, there was a position, and he got it all wrong as the ball swung towards him.
It's a great ball from Jimmy Nicol there.
Yeah, pushed there by Ferguson. Free kick to Celtic. Roy Aitken taking it again. There's Butcher up. Very confidently. Now McMinn. McMinn again going for this defence. There he goes. Sometimes you never know where the run's going to end up. He really stretched Celtic again though. They had to go after him. Johnston. McStay. Archdeacon. High right off the ball.
Davy Hay tactically at half-time, I think, has put Murdo McLeod's running power to try and stop McMinn. I think tactically that's very good.
Free kick. McGugan doing a bit of charging, and on it goes now to McCoy. Doesn't quite get there. Aitken read that well. Realised we're going to take it very quickly. Jim, do you want to say something again?
No, but just at half-time I've been trying to think what the managers were saying, and most certainly I would think the Celtic manager must have had more to moan about than the Rangers manager. In tactical, I think Davy Hay has definitely sorted out. I tried to sort out the problem of Ted McMinn with the boy Archdeacon checking back slightly more, but in particular Murdo McLeod's strong running inside to try and help the boy Derek White.
So, Celtic, Roy Aitken. Willie McStay, the substitute. Forward he comes. Away goes Derek Ferguson. Beautiful play. Ferguson running. There's a great chance for Rangers now. McMinn trying to take it himself. Here's Jimmy Nicholl. Nicholl with that. Ferguson's away. And beautiful play by McStay. Great defensive play. Johnson. No, that's Grant rather. There's Johnson. Celtic sweeping on a counter-attack. That's a corner kick. And you can hear the Celtic support now. A bit of shouting and bawling there, I think, towards McMinn, who was a bit selfish. He had Ferguson in the middle going through. And it's Owen Archdeacon who's down there. Yes, I think that ball should have been shoved to the centre, Jim, that last move by McMinn.
The player through the middle was slightly offside. McMinn had to hold it a little, but he held it far too long. What a game we've got now.
A game without goals, but a game certainly not lacking in incident or quality play. That little burst by Maurice Johnson raises hopes again of a Celtic revival, and by revival I mean the very things that both Andy Gray and Jim McLean have been talking about, in that Celtic have been in the shell for far too long, I think surprisingly far too long, and they might get break out of it. Up it goes, and I think, yes, the referee, who had a word previously with both McGugan and Butcher, giving the benefit of the doubt that time, if you could put it that way, to the Rangers captain. Been a lot of fouls in that area. Here's Butcher. That was a late tackle, yes, by McClare. Monroe going down. It is a very tough game now. All the players have settled into the match. We had a very clean first half. Just the one tackle that got slightly out of hand by Roy Aitken. And now a free kick. Butcher with it. Ball curling away. Jimmy Nicholl. Slightly off balance. One of McLeod. Here's Fraser, run by McMinn, McGugan with him, and I think Rangers may get the free kick for that challenge.
The modern players at times are so crazy. It's absolutely unbelievable to give a foul away in a situation like that, and it happens repeatedly in the modern game.
Free kick it is. Cammy Fraser with it. Up goes Butcher, and it's just over. He did get the better of that aerial duel that time. It's been a duel of the titans between those pair. Both the same height, both powerful, muscular kind of players, rising up there, and Butcher, that drooping header, just over. Fluffed, and very badly fluffed. Here's Durrant, didn't bring it down well. McPherson. Here's McMinn. Offside, Durrant. Yeah. Apologetic semaphoring going on there from Ted McMinn. One of McLeod. Jim McLean suggested backtrack very quickly. Free kick, yes. That's a nice little ball by McStay. Derek Point. Celtic supporters lifting the side. Great play by McMinn again, and he gets a throw. Put away by McGugan. Poised. I think that will be a throw. I don't think there was any deflection there. Oh, it's a corner kick. Corner been awarded. Fraser with it. Warner right in charge of that situation. The whistle's gone, and the noise is so intense, you certainly can't hear it. And I think we're about to get a Celtic substitution. With Alan McInally about to come on, it'll be in place of Owen Archdeacon. Now McInally's quite a powerful player.
Well, I think they're looking for his strength through the middle. Archdeacon really hasn't contributed a lot in the game. Jimmy Nicholl has marked him very tight. But I think the biggest problem is definitely the control in midfield that Rangers have had for most of the game. It's a wee bit more even this half.
And a kind of lull in the game, and the spectators take over with songs again. McGugan. Here's McStay. Almost cut off. Good run forward by McStay, and again Grant. What's the cross going to be like? There's Butcher. And again, Celtic still with the pressure on though. Grant. Shot by McLeod. Always, I think, going to the side. I think Woods had that covered. Still, Celtic now fighting back. There he was. Exasperation in the jump by Boris Johnson. Ball of Celtic now McClare. Down to Cooper. Here's Cooper. Now McMinn. It's a marvellous game we're having. No goals, admit that, but some marvellous football. Fraser, that's a trundly one by Fraser. Jimmy Nicholl. Fraser. Oh, a tried-looking pass. That was dangerous. McClare. Brilliant tackle by Butcher. Here's Cooper. Now Durrant. McMinn. Morris Johnson back to defend. There he is. There's the cross. And it's beyond everybody again. Somehow or other, the final pass is always eluding Rangers. However, they fight back. Through it goes towards Durrant. Almost a very telling pass. And it's not a bad match, Jim.
Well, it's now a magnificent game, and I still think that McMinn, final ball into the box, is definitely the factor that Rangers are still not scored.
Butcher right across, and it's a corner. Corner to Celtic. And Celtic simply haven't been able to counter McMinn. What has helped them is that final ball that we've been talking about. Herbert. Martin McLeod. Neatly clutched there. That's the kind of save I think Woods has been waiting for. He was under a little bit of pressure that time and showing absolute confidence. Here Durrant to McMinn again. That might even be booking. We'll see. The referee calling over Derek White. No, just a little warning to him. And McMinn is hurt. There he was, trying to take the youngster again, and that was late. Just looking down at the watch here now with 19 minutes gone, you'll see that occasionally yourselves on the electronic scoreboards. That's the scoreline. It'll be a free kick to Rangers when play is resumed, and it strikes me that McMinn might have twisted his knee, but he is getting up. Free kick. Once again, eluding that curve of Rangers players coming in. Monroe easily beaten then. Lovely counter-attack. McInally showing his strength immediately. And the strong running of Alan McInally turned the tide there, stretching the whole length of the field. And there's no finer sight when you get attack and counter-attack surging in that pulsating manner in an Old Firm match. It's high and push. Yes. Chris Woods getting the referee's protection. There he is, looking quite imperturbable. Won't get that. I think a throw to Rangers. Up comes McPherson. Here's Fraser. McMinn. Gets a corner. Surely, having had one of his finest games for Rangers, as Davy Cooper this time comes across. Butcher having elected to stay behind this time. Touched away brilliantly by Bonner. Superb save. And he wonders where the defence was.
Celtic players at the front post here are standing wondering who's going to attack the ball and allow it to go through them. They're very fortunate to come away out of that without losing the ball.
And that was a great piece of goalkeeping as he clutched out at it. I think a push by Ferguson on Paul McStay. And the spectators, make no mistake about it, are playing their part in this match. The swilling of scarves, the holding them up like banners by the Celtic supporters, the swirl of the Rangers supporters, this constant whirlpool of activity. Right through it goes. Goal kick. And we're now halfway through the second half. Jimmy Nicholl. Fraser. Here's Durrant. Beautifully round the side. Durrant for Rangers. Nicholl. White. Not sure where to put that. And Nicholl lets it go over.
Rangers, I feel, have definitely missed Colin West's height in the box, because some of the crosses have been not too bad, especially from Nicol.
Aiken. McInally. Play goes on. Here's Monroe. Durrant to Cooper. Run long forward there by Monroe. Aiken. That's a corner. Corner to Rangers. Rangers' 11th corner. Cooper again will take it. This time Butcher has come forward. Goes away to the outside. Hooked away by Johnson brilliantly. Back to Monroe. A slag ball by Monroe. Seems to be slightly injured. White. Butcher. Yes, McInally pushing. Now the referee wants a ball taken from the infringement spot. Long and away to McMinn again. He took that down brilliantly. Superb play by the big man. Well, I thought that was perfectly fair. McMinn made a meal of that one. Aiken. McStay. There's McStay to his brother Paul. Now White. Straight to it. No real challenge on that Rangers defence that time. McGugan easily for that one. McInally. Butcher right underneath it. I think there might be a booking for Butcher in this. For that late tackle, there is. Referee is booking Butcher for this. Teddy Butcher's name goes in the book, and it will be a free kick to Celtic away on the right. Back the Rangers captain goes. Now, I think Willie McStay will take this. "27 minutes of the second half gone." Oh, brilliantly taken. He's a safe-looking goalkeeper. He has made one or two mistakes, Jim, since he come here.
On today's show, he's been magnificent in the air. Crosses are where goalkeepers are usually suspect at too, so he's had an exceptional game with the crosses so far.
Cooper. Here's Durrant with a chance, and he's done it! A brilliant goal by Durrant. Superbly struck. Brilliantly laid on by Davy Cooper. And if ever a team deserved a lead, it's Rangers. Only for a short period of Celtic got into the game. Look at that beautifully laid off ball. Durrant, icily cool. the way he executed the finish. Rangers are in the lead, and about 16 minutes of the game left. The youngster took his time about it, didn't panic, and Rangers have their noses in front. Butcher. Johnston. Butcher. Ferguson. There's Monroe. To Butcher.
Rangers got to keep the ball for a wee while now, but that goal there, Cooper was very good, but Durrant running off the ball was magnificent.
McCoist. Swept away to McCoist. Roy Aitken in the way. Butcher. Offside, yes. Just the pace too much.
Boy, Durrant finished that goal at a veteran too, so a lot of the talent out here today makes me very excited for the future of Scottish football.
Up goes Butcher. There looked to be a bit of a push there, but Celtic trying to fight back very hard indeed. Monroe. Durrant. Free kick, yes. Durrant, the goal scorer. On to Monroe. Throw away in the far side. I think we've lost the ball. Now here it comes back. Cooper with it. Here's Durrant. Fraser. There's Durrant. Just took his eye off it. That was Ferguson, rather. There's Fraser. Sort of reverse pass. Here's Ali McCoist. Almost right through. Brilliant piece of play by McCoist. Chesting it round. And he was brought down. If he had got round there, that would have killed the game, I think. Look at that. Although, looking at it again, Jim, he didn't make much effort to go round Aitken, did he? I
feel really sorry for Roy Aitken in that situation. I feel that Alan McCoist knew he wasn't going to get the ball and run straight into Roy Aitken.
Free kick to Rangers. Very tense moment for this Celtic defence. Young Ian Durrant hovering at the side. Still Rangers undecided about how to take this. Almost in there, wall of green and white. Out to Cooper again. Here's Cooper, brilliant play. And it goes low. And that's it, 2-0 for Rangers. No, it's been disallowed. The referee has chopped it off. Interesting to see that one again. Cooper going round here. White. Well, unfortunately, we are being showered by coins up here now, and they've hit some of us. So it's a danger zone. Now make it just over 10 minutes to go. Draw to Celtic. Fraser. McMinn. Gets the corner. Corner to Rangers. And I think the Rangers physio ought to attend Derek Ferguson. Well, it's been a game in which Celtic threatened to come back, Jim, after the start of the second half.
Well, they started playing a bit in the second half, but I think all through the Rangers have definitely been the better side. They've definitely attacked more, and although both goalkeepers haven't had a lot to do, I would say it's because of the final ball into the box.
And the players waiting to resume the game, with Derek Ferguson limping. Meanwhile, we are taking shelter under the television monitors there and keeping our eyes on the game, and a certain section of the crowd. Put away there. Counter-attack is on. McPherson brilliantly tacking Maurice Johnson. Paul McStay. Celtic undoubtedly will fight to the end. Long one, McGugan. Beautiful header by McGugan there, under pressure. Well, young Derek White, I don't think will come across a more awkward customer than the man he's been playing directly against today, Ted McMinn. Rob McLeod, there's White to McLeod. Will try to get his side going. Roy Aitken. What a lovely ball by Aitken. And Durrant, I think that's a throw to Rangers, yes. Durrant, that goal described to you by Jim McLean as taken like a veteran, that's the best way to describe it. Only a teenager, young player with a great future. McStay. Mudder McLeod wants the return and gets it. Willie McStay. Butcher is there. Cooper with his right foot. Now White to Aitken. Nice one to the side. Willie McStay. And there is Woods. The Celtic trying to go right through the middle, and they're fighting hard to retrieve this situation. Still Celtic though, getting a lot of ball in midfield. And I think a free kick for Jimmy Nicholl, holding the ball between his legs, and a bit of aggro between McMinn and Paul McStay, and quite unnecessary. Nicholl is being booked. He should not have complained about that.
The players up to now have made it an easy game for the referee, and it would be silly now to spoil about 83 minutes by being foolish now.
And certainly Jimmy Nicholl was foolish in saying something, obviously, to the referee. It's a free kick to Celtic. And virtually every Rangers player, in fact, every Rangers player in that penalty area now. 5 minutes to go as Mother McLeod prepares to take this free kick. The danger's looking one, and it's over. Brian McClare. Well, that was a great chance. He was not picked up, and in a situation like that, if you're given that freedom, you've got to sink it. He went right between the defenders, and that was a marvellous chance for Celtic, perhaps one of the best chances in the game.
The goalkeeper slipped there as he was about to commentate the cross.
Well, that's interesting, Jim, because he was saying before the game that he felt the goal area was a bit too soft for him.
Well, if you watch it in replay, without doubt he slips as he's coming to take the cross, and he left the Celtic player with a free header.
Celtic fighting hard. Nicholl, and another free kick. Almost in the same position this time. Now, can Celtic get the players into the box like McClare did just 30 seconds previous? It's a crowded penalty area again. McPherson is up this time. Down it goes to McMinn, and he thumps it unceremoniously to the other end of the field. Bonner. Off the head of McClare, I feel. Oh, well, seems to come off the head of McClare. Have it. Throw to Celtic. It's lofted forward again and over. Well, Celtic have only, by my watch, 3 minutes to retrieve this game. 3 minutes left. Rangers leading by that sole goal by Ian Durrant. Scored in the 73rd minute. Bumped down the middle again. There's McPherson. Still Celtic picking it up in midfield, trying all they know. Willie McStay. Down the side it goes. In it goes and back out again. Ian Durrant. Rangers under siege at the moment. Tries to calm it down.
Roy Aitken now seems to be playing in midfield, and Peter Grant dropped back. I don't know whether he just broke for the back there, but it looks as if Big Roy's pieces will follow.
And that was a late tackle. Free kick. Free kick to Rangers. And by our watch, a couple of minutes left. There will be some injury time. Adam McCoist takes that down well. To Cooper. To Durrant, and he almost slipped it inside there. Bonner now. That's McClare. And back to Woods. Fraser. Content just to put it to the other end and let Celtic come towards him again, although it seemed to me that Rangers' policy would be try to gain possession and hold it. There's McPherson. McMinn is after this, he's onside, but Bonner will be there. White. Mudder McLeod. White. Right through the middle it goes, and back by Butcher. And Woods will take his time about this. An arm, I think, by Roy Aitken. Yes, free kick. And we're now into injury time. Free kick to Rangers. And they're pushing the players forward again. Here's McMinn. McMinn with it. Draw to Rangers. Everybody looking towards the referee. There can't be much time left now. Here's McMinn. And there it goes. The final whistle. Rangers have won the first Old Firm game of the season. The first league game ever to be televised live. And the Rangers supporters in ecstasy. After a very shaky start to the season, they come back with what I consider was a commanding performance for long stretches of the game. The winning goal scored in the 73rd minute by young Ian Durrant, coolly striding forward to a pass by Davy Cooper and placing the final score, that only score of the game, with great aplomb behind the Celtic goalkeeper in a superb fashion. Thus Rangers pick up two very valuable points, and Graeme Souness in the dugout sees his first league victory against the old enemy. Jim, your final summary.
Well, I think it was fitting that a midfield player should score the goal for Rangers. I think it was a deserved victory for Rangers, and the boy Durrant finished it exceptionally well. I think that's where the Rangers won the game.
And there are the jubilant Rangers supporters celebrating in some style. It was a hard game, a fair game. It had its vital elements of good individual football, combination of carefully planned out strategies, and some magnificent flair from the likes of Ted McMinn. McMinn quite brilliant. And look at this little reverse pass here. Just almost impudent side-footed pass for Ian Durrant to stride forward, check his pace, and then put it in. The winning goal. Well, sitting watching this game as well, we've had Diggy Donnelly and Andy Gray, who I'm looking down the platform is being talked to by various people over the stand, but I think we can go to them now. Dougie.
Yes, quite a match, quite an atmosphere, and this is certainly no place for the faint-hearted at an Old Firm.
Hello, good evening. And 24 hours after Celtic scored a dramatic penalty shootout victory over Motherwell in the first semi-final of the Glasgow Cup, it was the turn of Rangers and Dundee United to battle it out at Hampden Park tonight for a place in the final on October the 26th. For Paul Sturrock, a chance to underline United's unbeaten run in 11 league and cup matches, and for Graeme Souness, a critical game in his